Hello and welcome to Planet Pulse on Firstpost. The Earth is constantly changing, and in recent years, for the worse. Summers are getting hotter and winters harsher. Rising sea levels, floods, drought, wildfires, and torrential rain have been disrupting lives across continents. The fight against climate change is needed now more than ever. On this show, we bring you all of the top stories on the climate crisis, its causes, its brutal effects, and the warriors helping to fight the menace. Devastating wildfires are burning in and around Los Angeles. They have killed at least 25 people, displaced at least 100,000, forced desperate evacuations, razed neighborhoods, and turned landmarks to ashes. These are some of the most destructive and costliest blazes in California's history. Where are they burning? What is the extent of their damage? What are the response efforts? And is LA out of the woods yet? Our next report tells you.
Eerie orange skies, thick columns of smoke, entire neighborhoods burned to the ground. This is Los Angeles, where wildfires, driven by strong winds, have left incredible devastation in their wake. Enormous blazes have burned tens of thousands of acres, incinerated homes and businesses, destroyed more than 12,000 structures, killed at least 27 people, and displaced at least 100,000 people. The fires scorching LA are said to be the costliest in US history. The economic losses have soared to $275 billion. It all began last week. A series of fires, large and small, began to form a ring of fire around Los Angeles. The largest is the Palisades fire. This is along the Pacific coast west of downtown. This fire has burned about 24,000 acres, damaged about 5,000 structures, killed at least 8 people, and at least 6 people are missing. So far, this fire is 21% contained. The next largest fire is to the east, the Eaton fire in the San Gabriel Mountains. It has burned more than 14,000 acres. While it's smaller in perimeter than the Palisades fire, it has been more destructive. The Eaton fire has damaged about 7,000 structures, killed at least 17 people, and at least 20 people are missing. 45% of it has been contained by firefighters. While these two largest fires are still raging, firefighters have been able to mostly contain the smaller fires, like the Hearst fire. It has burned about 800 acres, and it's 97% contained. The Otto fire, which grew to more than 60 acres, is 85% contained. While there are some wins, the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, warns we are not out of the woods yet. Which brings us to the next question. What caused the wildfires, and why are they so destructive? Why did so many wildfires break out at the same time? As the wind-whipped wildfires continue their rampage, there has been intense speculation over what is causing them. About 95% of fires in California are caused by humans. This could be due to arson, backyard barbecuing, or a downed power line. Investigation is ongoing, but so far, no one knows who or what started the LA wildfires this year. That being said, late autumn and early winter is when catastrophic wildfires are most likely to break out in California. This is due to cool weather conditions with the Santa Ana winds. These are strong, dry gusts of wind, and they are linked to the region's most devastating fires. So LA residents are used to fires during this period, but they are not accustomed to this much destruction.
It's been very traumatic waking up every morning not knowing if our house is still going to be standing.
It is worse this year because the fire danger has been very high, in part thanks to the vegetation built up over 2 consecutive wet winters. It has turned into tinder after months of drought, leading to a combination of high winds, dry air, and ample fuel. These wildfires are larger and hotter than they would have been because of climate change. Our planet is warming rapidly, making disasters like wildfires worse. So what next? As the LA Fire Department focuses on containing the major fires, they have come under fire and increased public scrutiny. They are being blamed for limited emergency evacuation plans, for struggling to get people out because of traffic bottlenecks, and for failing to position firefighters properly as the winds picked up. To this, the fire chief has retorted, claiming that they are following protocol.
We are taking an aggressive lean-forward posture, and the LAFD has staffed all available resources, strategically placing fire patrols and engines in the unimpacted, high fire risk areas in the city. We are carefully managing our operations to ensure that we can quickly respond to any new fires, in addition to the increased call volume across the city of Los Angeles.
Currently, about 1,400 fire engines are operating in Los Angeles, along with 14,000 firefighting personnel. And they are getting help from overseas, mainly from Mexico and Canada, who have sent firefighters, aircraft equipment, and other resources. Plus, California has been granted more federal funding, and celebrities like Beyoncé, Paris Hilton, and Jamie Lee Curtis are making major donations to rebuilding efforts. So hope is in the air. Through the week, conditions have improved across Southern California, boosting the evacuation efforts. Fire crews are working to keep old fires from reigniting. They are trying to contain the ongoing fires. Cleanup teams are scrambling to restore access to neighborhoods where the fires burned through, and law enforcement is warning of severe punishment for crimes as reports of looting from burning homes and price gouging are rife.
We have received numerous allegations that we are now following up involving additional looting incidents and price gouging. The price gouging is particularly despicable because these are people who are basically looking at this situation and saying, how can I make the most amount of money from people who are desperately seeking housing, supplies, they're seeking services because they've lost everything. They've lost their houses. But if we go ahead and find out that you've engaged in price gouging and you've taken no steps to remedy the violation that you have basically enacted, we will go ahead and prosecute you to the full extent of the law.
As firefighters grapple with enormous blazes, forecasts predict that the current stretch of strong winds is almost over. This may offer reprieve to firefighters, but they also warn that LA has a long road to recovery. Tougher times are ahead. As per weather conditions, another Santa Ana wind event is expected next week. Daunting conditions will most likely return. The region will remain at risk for new fires. It may take weeks before the fires are extinguished and the danger is over. But as the winds that fan the flames are set to strengthen, Los Angeles hopes that so does its resolve to survive this crisis.
As the wildfires rage through the hills and valleys of California once again, it's impossible to ignore the haunting reality. These blazes are getting bigger, hotter, and more destructive with each passing year. But California is not alone in its battle against nature's fury. From the frozen wilderness of Siberia to the sun-scorched landscapes of Australia, some of the largest and deadliest wildfires in history have left scars that will last for generations. In this report, we'll journey through the 5 most catastrophic wildfires the world has ever seen.
California is under siege. Devastating wildfires are tearing through the state, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Several homes have been reduced to ash, lives tragically lost, and the very fabric of the landscape irrevocably altered. These are known to be the most destructive wildfires in the history of the state. But these aren't just isolated incidents. Climate scientists warn that warming temperatures and severe droughts are making wildfires more frequent and intense. Experts suggest that climate crisis is pushing the world to temperatures that the modern humans have never experienced before. We have seemingly entered a new era, dubbed the Pyrocene by fire historian Stephen Pine. It is an era of unprecedented fire activity which is driven by humans. California Governor Gavin Newsom recently declared that there is no longer a fire season in the state. The fire season is now year-round. This alarming reality explains the gravity of the situation. The recent wildfires in Los Angeles are a grim testament to it. Rising global temperatures exceeding 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels are creating hotter, drier conditions. This fuels intense droughts, turning landscapes into tinder boxes. As per a report by the US Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, this is how climate crisis is making these wildfires worse. Due to climate change, there is an increase in the frequency, the season length, and the burnt area of wildfires. While the exact causes of the California fires are unknown and under investigation, experts say that it might be directly or indirectly linked to humans. By the look of it, human activities coupled with various environmental factors might have caused the wildfires to expand rapidly. Southern California has not seen significant rainfall for months, which means droughts are not uncommon in the state. Extremely dry conditions cause the vegetation to become parched and highly flammable. Strong winds like the Santa Ana winds in California further dehydrate the landscape. This, combined with human factors like faulty power lines or careless behavior, create a recipe for disaster. When vegetation is so dry and conditions so inflammable, any spark can start a fire, which can soon burn down a large region at a life-threatening pace. But the impact of climate change extends beyond wildfires. Climate change is intensifying other natural disasters as well. Hurricanes are becoming more powerful. Floods are more frequent and severe cyclones are growing stronger. These events are not isolated. They are interconnected symptoms of a planet in distress. If we fail to address climate change, these events will only worsen with time. Wildfires are projected to increase dramatically in the coming decades, which means that the ecosystems and human communities are headed for a devastating future. Wildfires have a profound impact on the wildlife as well. It destroys habitats, forcing animals to flee or perish. This disrupts entire ecosystems with cascading effects on the food chain. In California, for example, many snake species are losing their homes, which is impacting the delicate balance of the ecosystem. The Pyrocene is a stark reminder of the urgent need to address climate change. We must transition to clean energy. We must reduce greenhouse gas emissions and protect our planet for future generations. The time for action is now.
Los Angeles is burning at an alarming rate. Homes and lives of several people are at stake. The situation so far seems uncontainable. But who is to blame for these deadly wildfires? Climate change is being framed as a big culprit of California fires. But this isn't the complete picture. What is actually driving climate crisis? How is careless and selfish human activity pushing the planet to the brink of collapse? Our next report brings you the details.
As wildfires continue to rage across the globe, the heartbreaking scenes in Los Angeles have reminded us of the catastrophic power these natural disasters hold. In the face of growing climate change, the scale of these blazes is becoming increasingly devastating. Let's take a moment to reflect on 5 of the biggest wildfires recorded in history, whose scale and destruction serve as painful reminders of our collective vulnerability to the forces of nature. In 2003, eastern Siberia was engulfed by what remains the largest wildfire in recorded history, stretching across an unimaginable 55 million acres of land. This fire was fueled by extreme temperatures and dry conditions, both exacerbated by the ongoing climate crisis. The fires not only decimated forests, but released a staggering amount of carbon into the atmosphere. The smoke from these fires traveled far beyond Siberia, reaching parts of Europe. The 2019-2020 Australian bushfires, known as the Black Summer, will forever be etched in the collective memory of the world. Over 42 million acres of land were consumed by flames. But it wasn't just the devastation of the land that left a scar, it was the loss of life, both human and animal. In total, 33 lives were lost and nearly 3,000 homes were destroyed. The true toll, however, was seen in the estimated 3 billion animals that perished and the irreversible damage done to the environment. The Great Fire of 1910, which ravaged the forests of northern Idaho and western Montana, holds the grim distinction of being one of the deadliest wildfires in US history. The fire claimed the lives of at least 87 firefighters, many of whom were part of a heroic effort to control the inferno. The flames tore through 3 million acres of land, devastating entire communities and causing widespread destruction. In the aftermath, the disaster led to sweeping changes in the US government's approach to forest management and fire suppression. Stretching across 4.2 million acres of British Columbia and Alberta, the Chinchaga Fire of 1950 was one of North America's largest wildfires. Its smoke, known as the Great Smoke Fall, darkened skies across eastern North America and even reached parts of Europe. The fire, which was ignited by dry lightning in a particularly hot summer, left many parts of Canada in ashes. It highlighted the severe challenges of managing wildfires in remote, hard-to-reach regions. The Black Dragon Fire of 1987, which spans 2.5 million acres across China and Russia, was a tragic event that claimed 191 lives and displaced thousands. The fire, thought to have been caused by human activity, highlighted the dire need for international cooperation in managing wildfires. The Black Dragon Fire underscored how wildfires are a global issue, transcending national borders. These 5 wildfires, each unique in their scale and impact, serve as stark reminders of the devastating consequences of climate change and the increasing frequency of such catastrophic events. Whether through massive destruction of forests, loss of life, or the long-term environmental damage, these fires have left a scar that will take years, if not generations, to heal. They also serve as urgent calls to action, reminding us of the need for better fire prevention, international cooperation, and above all, a collective commitment to combat the climate crisis before it gets too late. As wildfires rage through the hills and valleys of California once again, it is impossible to ignore the haunting reality. These blazes are getting bigger and hotter and more destructive with each passing year.
And that's it on Planet Pulse for today. We will see you again next week. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.